Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video, which is a sit-down video. I haven't done one in a little bit, so I figured why not come on here and do a reading video, because I haven't done reading videos since December, and to be honest, most of what I read was in December. I haven't really finished a book since then, so I feel I need to sit down and do a video when I can actually still remember my actual thoughts on the books. So I figured I'm gonna go ahead and do this tonight because I couldn't really sit down to do a colored chat because of the simple fact that we have a red fox in the trees behind our house, and it's currently red fox mating season. Didn't know that until I just had to look it up, because the screams that it does and the wailing that it does sound like some demonic thing, like coming out of the woods at nighttime. And I just got finished, me and Mom got finished watching The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I thought that had invoked some kind of satanic thing coming in the woods at us. That's how bad it sounds. So we've been going since about 11:30 tonight. I haven't heard in like the last 40 minutes. My cat was getting freaked out, so I was like, I can't sit down for an hour and film. I'm just gonna go ahead and film this quick video tonight because my cat's freaked out and I can't leave the door closed for a while, so let's get into it. So I have finished one book, DNF / finished another book, so technically two books I can talk about and give like some reviews on, and then I'm in the middle of two books. Well, I'm in the middle of many books, but I'm in the middle of currently two active. So let's talk about the one I finished and enjoyed thoroughly. That is Misery by Stephen King. I started reading this book because of the Castle Rock Season 2. Me and my mom were watching it, and I fell in love with, I think her name is Lizzie Kaplan or Copeland, who played that version of Annie Wilkes. So after I was done with that book, I had to just run and pick the book off my shelf, and I devoured this book in like 2.5 days. This was a reread for me. I read it back in, I think 2005, 2006. I think that's when I first read it. And I loved it then, and I loved it now. I did go into it with a different set of eyes this time. When I first read it, I read it with the visual of the movie in my head. And this time I went into it with the visual of the Castle Rock version of Annie, so I went into it with a version of a more mature hybrid of Annie from Castle Rock and the movie. So Lizzie and what's her name? Kathy Bates. Kathy. So version of Lizzie and Kathy together, and I think it made it even better. I can go on and on about Castle Rock version of Annie. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. You don't have to really watch. You really can. They're connected, but not connected. Castle Rock, each season, is a parallel universe version of that town. So there's connections, but there's not connections. But this one, I think everyone knows the story of it. Annie Wilkes, who helps Paul Sheldon and then ends up keeping him captive. This was actually a lot more bloody than I remembered it. I didn't remember a lot of this book, actually. Like the hobbling scene, the infamous hobbling scene. For some reason, I blocked out how it is in this book versus the movie. Like, I just seen the movie where she took a sledgehammer to his foot and like it just, like that. And in the book, she takes an axe to it and literally cuts off his left foot from the ankle down, and then blow torches it. I forgot that was in here, and I got to that point, and I remembered the emotion that I felt when I first read it, which was very sick to my stomach, because Stephen King has a way of just making scenes, like, for some reason, sometimes he's writing, you can sit there in the most, what you would think would be like the most easy to imagine in your head, and it's hardest to imagine, but when he gets into like the graphic horror section, it's like the most vivid in your head, and that was the most vivid in my head. But I enjoyed reading it. I will admit, I did skip, like I do every single time when I read this book or ever before. I did skip over the Misery versions, because in the book he's writing the ending to Misery, because when it looks like the original, I skipped over that because it really has no correlation in my opinion. I read it, like I went back and read it once, I think, and I never seen any connections. Like, I'm just skipping over this because it's like 50 pages of the novel I do not need to read. But I finished it again in December, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is definitely one of my favorites of Stephen King. But after that, it was Christmas time, and also this author had recently was announced that she had passed away. So I picked a book of hers off my shelf, which was Home for the Holidays by Joanne Lindsay. Unfortunately, I didn't like this book. I really, really didn't like this book. It was trying too hard to make you like the main character, the main male character, and he's just someone you can't like. He is trying to take down this family because they had the head of the household had led to his brother ending his life. Basically, the head of the Ascot family had basically stole what's his name? Vincent's brother. He had stolen Vincent's brother's career out from underneath him, and basically left his brother with nothing, and the brother ended up committing suicide. So Vincent is out to ruin the family, and he's been doing it while the guy's out of town. Is set back in like I think the 1800s, 20s. Doesn't actually say, but based on Joanne Lindsay's writing and the historical element, I would say it's maybe in like the maybe like the 1860s, something like that setting, like late 1800s. And he's out of town, like back when they used a lot of ships and stuff like that as well. And he's out of town, he hasn't returned, people are thinking he's dead, so Vince is taking advantage of this and spreading rumors that he's not coming back. They left on all of his debts, and it's basically ruining the Ascot family. And Vincent, at the beginning of the novel, has now stolen the deed from the Ascot Manor out from underneath the family. So he's stolen the deed out from underneath the family, he's bought it out, and then he goes to a victim, and then he sees the main love interest, Larissa. He thinks she's so beautiful and offers her safe haven as like, I'm sorry for doing this to you, yada yada yada. His actual plan is to, in I think the words of this book, deflower her, to make her less suitable for marriage, because back in the time, when if a guy was out doing every which way type of thing, he was a scoundrel, but if a woman did it, she was marked as like someone had to be like a spinster for the rest of her life, basically. And that's what he's trying to do. I cannot sit here for 320 some pages when every single time that's in the male character's head, he's plotting how to make her fall in love with him so he can ruin her life, but she's, in her head, she's actually falling in love with him because he's being this caring, kind person. So I gave up on it. I skipped the end. They end up together. It's a romance. I hated it. Unfortunately, I read it because Joanne Lindsay passed away. Went to read a book on her honor, and the first book I picked off my shelf, I hated Nevers. it happens, but it's like at the same time, like I want to read a good book in her memory because she writes so many good books, and I pick the bad book off the shelf. So after that, I went back on a Stephen King fix. I started to read The Tommyknockers again. Couldn't get back into that one. I started reading a while ago, couldn't get back into it. Or I couldn't get into it, and then I couldn't get back into it. So I picked up Cujo. No, I started to read Christine. I couldn't get into Christine. And then I tried Tommyknockers, couldn't get into that one either. And then I went to Cujo. I am enjoying this one so far. I am about 50 or 46 pages in. And I'm enjoying it. One thing I am not enjoying, there is no chapter break. The only breaks in the book are your scene breaks. And my bookmark in here. So your scene breaks. There are no chapter breaks in here. So I'm someone, I don't like to pause. Like, for instance, Misery. Stephen King does a lot of this within chapters, where he has breaks. So he has like chapters within chapters. And usually all of his books have that. This one does not. This one starts out with just Cujo, once upon a time, and then it's told as this long story. The main problem I have with that is, whenever I stop in the middle of a chapter, like say a scene break, I feel like I'm stopping in like the middle of a sentence. I feel like I'm stopping in the middle of a story that didn't come to like a natural break. It's almost like watching half of a 60-minute Netflix TV show and then not coming back to it for days and then starting right back up from the same point. It just doesn't feel natural to me. So, which is weird because sometimes I can stop in the middle of a chapter, which is kind of weird because I can like stop in the middle of a chapter and come back to it, like say if I take like a 5-10 minute break. But if it's longer than that, then I feel weird. So I want to keep reading this book because it is good. And I've never seen the movie. I know of the movie, I've never seen it. I've seen scenes of the movie. So I want to see it to kind of experience the story for the first time. It's just that it's a hang up because I can like go through here. There's like literally nothing, no chapter breaks in here, just more scene breaks. And it's just like, it kind of irks me about it. So I set this one aside to when like I'm really, really in the mood, and then I'm going to tell myself, read this in as little sittings as you can. So I did read the first 46 pages in like one sitting. So I'm trying to save like when I'm really, really, really in the mood for it so that I can just sit down and devour it. Because I feel like that would be the best way for me to actually experience it. But that probably for a little bit because I am now reading this book, which is his newest book. I took the dust jacket off because I loathe, like with a burning passion, what the publishing world is doing with the dust jackets. They're not doing the nice glossy covers anymore. They're doing the buttery, creamy dust jackets. And you can read this book like this with the dust jacket on. No problems. You do read this book with the dust jacket on. And if your hand sweats in any way, that dust jacket is ruined. Not ruined, like it's not like you have to like get a new book. It will literally be so smudged and disgusting looking. I hate it. Like when I publish my own books on Amazon, they give a glossy or matte version. I always go glossy because I cannot I published once with a mat cover, hated it, and I really wish they would go back to the glossy, because yes, it's aesthetically pleasing, but functionality wise, no, because I like to leave my dust jackets on my book when I read. I know a lot of people take them off. I like to leave them on because it protects the book, you know, it protects the naked book. But yeah, I'm not that far into it. I'm only on page 11 at his little break there, his chapter that Cujo has not been doing. I don't really know much about it. I haven't read the dust jacket of it. I've been finding recently that a lot of Stephen King books, his recent releases, the dust jacket has like outlined like 90% of the novel. The only thing you're getting then is character development in the book. So I stopped reading them. I have heard really, really good things about this book though, so I'm happy about that. I just need to get back in the mood of reading. So, and I'm sorry for me reaching a pause video restarting it. I keep doing it because I keep hearing my cat, and I'm gonna make sure she isn't screaming to wake everyone else up because she's in a rare mood tonight. I cannot wait. It says that Red Fox mating season is done in March. Are we happy? It coexists with every single animal we have, like every stray. It just screams, and screams, and screams. And it sounds like a banshee. Like, I literally thought, because it didn't start until like a month ago, where I started watching Sabrina. So I literally thought Sabrina had summoned something, because me and my family are like sensitive to that kind of stuff, you know, like ghost, supernatural things, you know. We've lived in multiple haunted houses filled with good and bad things, so like we really know that there's stuff back there that's good in the woods, you know? So as soon as I heard that, I know I'm probably sounding crazy, but as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh shit. And then I looked it up after seeing the fox, like, thank God. I think to myself, if Sabrina, if Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, Cherry Adventures Sabrina had summoned something to my house, I'm suing Netflix. But yeah, I need to get ready to read more. I'm gonna try reading tonight. I have to make my bed because I just washed it. So maybe I'll crawl into it and read. I'm starting to wind down all my gaming. That's why I haven't been reading, because I got Pokemon Sword and Shield and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I finished Eevee, finished Shield, now restarted Shield and replaying it. So I'm not invested in Shield as much. It's just that I know everything, so I'm like slowly going through and like noticing things I missed, you know. So I might start reading more now. I'm gonna try, I think, setting up like a plan for it, like 1 day's reading, 1 day is coloring, 1 day is gaming, just kind of like shift through that, you know. I don't know, but I do want to start reading more because I have so many books back there that I need to read. But anyways, I'm rambling now. I hope you all have an amazing day. I will get back to my scheduled coloring videos probably tomorrow night. I have the picture to finish up that I'm working on from Lori's Art Garden. And then I'm going to get on to next week, the Helen page, because it's my birthday next week. And I'll have to show you, I got a card from a Jacqueline or a colorist. Because I threw a hand-painted card. I'm not going to show you the messages. I never, if you send a card, I don't show the messages in there. Have to thank her in email tonight. But because it came just today, which is Today was next year, so it was the 5th. And I just came out today. I have to message her tonight before I go to bed. So yeah, that is it. I'm rambling. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. But yeah, like I said, back to scheduling coloring videos again next our next 2 nights, and then next week is Hannah Lynn, and then back to Floral February. So that is it for today. Hope you have an amazing day. Until next time, happy crafting, happy reading, happy crafting, happy reading, happy whatever you are doing during this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.